Okay, good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, March the 12th. Beautiful sunny day, beautiful sunny evening, 6:30 p.m. And I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to start with a moment of silent reflection. So please join me. Thank you. Moving on to our land acknowledgement. The municipality of Port Hope exists on the lands of the Mississauga Anishinaabeg traditional territory covered by the Williams Treaties. We honor and recognize First Peoples as rights holders and stewards of the lands and waters in which we have the privilege to live, work, and play, including the Ganaraska River and forest. We pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging. We commit to actions towards truth and reconciliation by Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, strengthening ties with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, especially those who make their home in Port Hope, and learning from Indigenous ways of knowing and being. We do so by recognizing the past and working towards a shared future. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest this evening? I want to note that we received none prior to starting this meeting. Moving on to item number 3, we have no correspondence. Moving on to item number 4, items for consideration. 4.1, report CAO 0124, reappointment of municipal clerk. Does staff have anything further that they would like to add before we consider this report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. It is an absolute pleasure to be delivering this report this evening. We are going to speak about the permanent appointment of Shrishma Dave to the role of statutory clerk for the municipality of Port Hope. This is very exciting. On October 5th, 2021, Shrishma was appointed to the role of Deputy Clerk / Manager of Legislative Services, and since that time, she has been instrumental and pivotal in all aspects of the Corporate Services Department. Most importantly, since last August, she has assumed the role of acting clerk, as during the time where the CAO recruitment was occurring, they had to do a shuffle of the organizational chart, and she assumed that role with grace and effectiveness and continues to do so to this day. So to recognize her ongoing efforts, and as council is heading into the process of a by-election, it is the recommendation of staff for council to consider a bylaw at the next meeting to appoint Shrishma to the permanent role of clerk. And to support that role, we are recommending that Director Gilmer be appointed as deputy clerk in order to provide ongoing supports to the corporation and to the department as a whole. After the by-election, Director Gilmer's role will be backfilled through special projects assigned through the CAO's office. And beyond that, the corporate service delivery review will take a look at the corporate services department as a whole and its organizational structure, and further recommendations will come forward at that time. After council meeting, if they adopt the bylaw at the next meeting, then there'll be the appropriate public announcements will go out. The website will be updated, and it'll be a good day. So thank you. I'll take any questions.
Thank you, CAO. I'll open it up to any comments around the table, but from this chair, I just want to say thank you for the report, and I can't think of a more worthy candidate and appointment, and we very much appreciate everything that you do for the municipality. Any other comments from around the table? Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Just to echo the mayor, and think this is a great move. And I also just appreciated the thinking around how you would reorg within the department to accomplish this without a significant service level change at this time. And I think it was really creative, and I think it's a great strategy moving forward.
Thank you. Okay, well then the recommended action is listed on the agenda. So can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Todd, seconded by Councillor Less. All in favor? And that is passed, of course, unanimously. Yes. I wish all of our decisions were this easy, Shrishma. Okay, moving on to item 4.2, report CS 0424 re 2024-2027, advisory committee appointments, accessibility advisory committee, and the Parks, Recreation and Culture Advisory Committee. Does staff have anything further that they would like to add before we consider this report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is our standard report that is coming forward to Committee of the Whole for consideration of the appointments for these two committees. The recruitment for the Advisory Committee, for Accessibility Advisory Committee and the PRC has completed, and staff have recommended the people that have been presented to you today in accordance with the appointment policy. We are pausing the committee bylaw review at this time just because of the fact that the by-election is taking precedence over all of our other projects that we had on the go. But it is our ultimate goal, once the by-election is completed, for us to bring back the committee bylaw and the appointment policy for council's consideration.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from around the table? Councillor Adam.
Thank you. I'd just like to say for the PRC Advisory Committee, we had 28 applicants for it, which was quite amazing. Every single person could have easily been on this committee. So it was a very tough decision to do this, but we really thank everybody that came out.
And I think we all echo that whatever committee we are recruiting for, that we very much appreciate all the folks coming forward from the public and wanting to engage and contribute to the work of the municipality. So thank you for that. Anyone else have any comments? Okay, then the recommended action is listed on the agenda. Can I ask for a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Adam and seconded by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Moving on to 4.3, report CS 0524 re Perry Town Cemetery title cleanup. Does staff have anything further that they would like to add before we consider this report?
Thank you, Mayor Hankivsky. This is a matter that's been before council previously. It's a legacy issue that predates amalgamation. We had a plan in place to address this through a report that was presented last April, and it turns out that's not going to be quite as easy. So we're revisiting this with the help of our legal counsel and have a plan in place to amend a bylaw from 1978 to address some title cleanup to the benefit of some surrounding property owners and to the benefit of the municipality, to clean up a title issue with a couple of our cemeteries, a number of our cemeteries. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Any comments? No. Okay, so the recommended action is listed on the agenda. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Todd and seconded by Councillor Adam. All in favor? Thank you, and that is passed unanimously. Moving on to 4.4, report CS 0624 re Police Services Board vacancy. Does staff have anything further that they would like to add before we consider this report?
Thank you, Mayor Hankivsky. It's with regret that we have received the resignation from board member John Hudson, who's been a member since 2015. We have recommended a path forward mirroring the tenets of our appointment policy, and have proposed for you an ad hoc selection committee to make a recommendation to council. Like all of our appointments from council, ultimately it's in your hands as to who you'd like to appoint. But from a facilitative perspective, we believe this ad hoc selection committee would be able to present to you a council or a candidate for your consideration in the near future.
Thank you for that report. And I just want to echo what Director Gilmer has said. It's I was very deeply saddened and surprised to see this resignation. I have reached out to John and to thank him very much for all of his years of service, for his breadth and depth of knowledge and expertise and capacities, and have spoken, as I know also Councillor Les has, to really let him know how much we appreciate everything that he did during his tenure at the board. He's going to be very sorely missed, and he's leaving a very large set of shoes to be filling. So we're going to miss him, and we thank him very much for his service. I don't know, Councillor Les, if you would like to add anything.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working with and somewhat playing with John over the period of since 2015 when we were sort of brought on the board together. He was invaluable with his insurance benefit finance background. He was chief executive officer of his organization. He was invaluable at negotiation time, and we occasionally had a drink together, so he was a good chap.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, the recommended action is in front of us on the agenda. Can I ask for a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Les and seconded by Councillor Todd. All in favor, and that is passed unanimously. Moving on to 4.5, report PD 0824 Heritage Alteration Permit, 86 Walton Street. Does staff have anything further they would like to add before we consider this report?
Through the Mayor and Council, nothing significant. I would just suggest that you will notice in the report there are delegated authorities and not delegated authorities as part of this bylaw. So we are approving the sign as a delegated authority, but we need council's support in the light. So we're asking you to support our report this evening. I'm happy to take any questions you might have. I believe it's pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions, happy to answer.
I'm going to just jump in and ask a question. Do we need a report on a light? And maybe more to the point, and I appreciate the time and effort that went into this, so that's not about what this is, but same time, can I just be so bold and ask if this is a good use of our resources?
So just for clarification, to process the application permit or to write this report? The latter of the writing report? Probably not. If you wanted to, I think if we ever reviewed the delegation of authority related to these matters, this would be one that we would bring forward and ask for council's support, giving us the authority to make this decision. But right now, as it stands, the bylaw is pretty clear. We don't have the authority to make these decisions. So while I agree with you, it is not the best use of our staff resources at this particular time. The bylaw handcuffs me and doesn't allow me to make this decision on my own.
I thought that would be the answer, but thought I would ask anyway. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Can I ask, because this is the second such report. There was one recently as well about a sign height that struck me. I had the same thought at that time as the mayor has expressed around this one, with a concern that I share about it. Why is this at the council table? This doesn't seem like something that is policy thing. And is this, the question I had is this something that the Heritage Committee, the Heritage Port Hope, would normally deal with this, or is the way it's written, these things do actually require council?
Through the back to the deputy mayor. So this is not, the Heritage Advisory Committee is simply that. It's an advisory committee. So they do not have authority to make these decisions anyway. They would be simply providing advice to council. But you are right. There are these are pretty administrative issues that are not generally contentious, in my opinion. And that would be something that we would be seeking a delegated authority to address in the future. Not maybe in the near future. We're pretty busy right now, but generally that would be the case.
Yes, I'm just going to jump in for a second. I hope we can put that on the to-do list whenever the can do.
It is on the list. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
It just to picking up on the point about efficient use of time, though, could we maybe consider the next time you're going to sit down to write such a report, that maybe that time could be spent writing the report asking for the delegated authority instead?
Back to the deputy mayor. Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. We have a recommended action listed on the agenda. Can I get a mover and seconder? Or did somebody want to weigh in on this? Candace, did you want to? No,
But thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just to jump in, the delegation of authority bylaw is on the radar for more than just this issue. So although it would we would be able to write the amendment quickly to, to fill that same time slot as writing this report. It's a more thorough and comprehensive review. There's multiple items where this is true. There's HR policies that you just received, I don't know, about a month ago, when the same internal conversation happened as to, these are operational policies that could be signed off internally, and we need to take a strong look at corporately where that delegation of authority needs to rest, even outside of this issue. So I don't think we would piecemeal it, where we would bring and split that all up, so a comprehensive review. But you're right, it's the front end work to get the gain for the long term. So we hear you, and it's on the radar.
Thank you. That's very reassuring. So we have a motion on the table, passed by Councillor Less, moved and seconded by Councillor Todd, and all in favor. That's a unanimous decision. 4.6, report PRC 0424 Reed Junior C Hockey Agreement, Port Hope Panthers. Does staff have anything further that they would like to add before we consider this report? Okay, seeing nothing. Any comments, questions from the council table? Okay, so the proposed recommended action is listed on the agenda. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Adam and seconded by Councillor Less. All in favor, and that is passed unanimously. So the recommended action is that a bylaw be presented to Council for the execution of 3-year agreement renewal between the municipality of Port Hope and Port Hope Panthers Junior C Hockey Inc. for the purposes of the club operation and use of the Jack Burger Sports Complex, effective September 1st, 2024. Okay, moving on to item 5. There are no notices of motion on the agenda tonight, and a few updates and new business. So beginning with our by-election. On March 5th, Council directed the clerk to hold a bylaw election for Ward 2 councillor vacancy. I'm pleased to advise that the preparations for the Ward 2 by-election are underway. The dedicated webpage is now live. The webpage contains important bylaw election information, upcoming important dates, and more. This information can be found at porthope.ca/by/election. By-election. Staff are constantly updating this page, so please make sure you check the page regularly. And if you are planning to run for the upcoming by-election, you can now file your nomination papers with the clerk, and please contact the clerk to book an appointment to file your nomination papers. Moving on to Cavan Street. On Friday, we provided an update on the Cavan Street closure. After a structural assessment report, it was determined that Block 2 of the File Factory exhibits severe damage and a substantial risk of collapse. In response, an emergency order is in place. The property owner must undertake all necessary remedial repairs to ensure the safety of the building. While this work is underway, Cavan Street will, of course, continue to be closed to vehicular traffic. More detailed information can be found at porthope.ca/news. And Walton Street. A public information center for the Walton Street reconstruction project will be held on Monday, March 25th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Town Park Recreation Center, Room 3. This session is open to all community members and the business community who wish to learn more about project timelines, scope of work, and how to stay informed throughout the project. This is an important meeting. We hope to see as many members of the public attend as possible, and we thank the staff for moving quickly to establish this date for the public information session. Now, does anybody in council have any updates that they would like to share? Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, sorry. I just on the Cavan Street piece, I just wanted to share something with the surrounding community. Had been raising some concerns about the detour route of Bedford and Yeovil and the potential for increased traffic and speeding. And the manager of transportation responded very quickly and put up a speed tracker. for over the course of a week. And the good news is that while there is a significant volume of traffic, the average speed captured was actually only 36 kilometers an hour in that 50 zone. So it doesn't appear to be causing the problem that was anticipated in terms of speed. And I just wanted to commend Director Davidson and Manager of Transportation for their speedy response on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on then to question period. It's now time for our question period. Remember, question period is for questions only and is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions of council. Please keep your questions direct. And please note that this is not meant as an avenue to ask questions to staff, and we're going to try really hard moving forward with our new system to ensure that we collect information and questions that are directed to staff directly to and pass them on to staff so that staff can actually get back to any members of the public that present questions here. So we please ask that when you step forward that you identify your name and address and ensure that the purple button is pushed and the microphone is on before speaking. I will start with councillors. Does anybody have any questions for one another? Okay, seeing none. Don't see any media. And questions from the public. If anybody's got any questions, please step forward.
Hi, Ed White, Mill Street. Please, I was late. Please forgive me if my question was answered before I got here, but my question is, I heard on the radio today that the by-election is going to be June 5th or 6th, something like that. That's when the by-election is going to be. That's what the radio said. It was going to be June 5th or 6th. My question is, who's representing the people of Ward 2 with a vacant seat for 3 months? Like that seems somewhat excessive to ask the people of Ward 2 to go without representation. My solution to the problem might be if Mr. Toms was willing, would it be possible to put him in there for 3 months representing the town and have your by-election anyway? At least the people of Ward 2 would have some kind of representation for that period of time, because I'm pretty sure there's probably stuff going on in Ward 2 that's going to need some kind of representation from I mean, they've got nobody here today. It just does. It seems like an excessive period of time to expect those people to go. I do have a bit of a little survey that I've done on my service calls, if there would be of any interest. But yeah.
Was there another question, or did you want me?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question. That is definitely a question for our clerk to answer, and so I will ask Shrishma if you want to answer this directly here today. And just to note that we have had this empty seat now for a number of weeks.
Thank you for that question. So I'll answer it from a legislative perspective. So in accordance with the Municipal Elections Act, or excuse me, the Municipal Act, council has a decision to make with respect to how they fill the council vacancy once they've declared it. They declared the council vacancy on February 13th. And then on February 20th, they considered a report by the clerk with respect to how they were going to fill that vacancy. The two options were appointment and by-election.
Yep.
And then on March 5th, the decision was made that the by-election was going to be held. So at this point, it is a done deal. There is no other action that can be taken. The by-election has a prescribed timeline, which is in the Municipal Act, which is what we are following. So the June 6th date that we've chosen is in accordance with the Municipal Act. And until that time, that seat will remain vacant.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And yes, Councillor Adam.
And just to answer your one question there, who represents Ward 2, we all do. I ran for council for the municipality of Port Hope in Ward 1, and Ward 2 is right there. And I plan on representing Ward 2 just the same as I do Ward 1. Thank you.
And I believe that that is the sentiment of every single person sitting at the table, including the chair, myself. So any other questions from the public? No? Okay. Okay, well, this then concludes our business to be covered on today's agenda, and I'm in a position to adjourn our meeting. The Committee of the Whole is adjourned at 6:55 p.m. Thank you.